Hey guys, ArthurianWitch here. So I wanted to do a video tonight on a topic that I haven't really seen a lot lately, and I've been using more and more recently with the shadow work that I'm doing and things like that. And that topic is bind runes. Now, what bind runes are is the Elder Futhok rune set is one individual rune, and each individual rune has a message and has its own energy, its own meaning, and things like that. Bind runes take those individual runes and put them on top of one another to form a different message or a different meaning or a different energy. So it's just like if you were to take different symbols, for God and Goddess and overlap them together to create a universal symbol for the God and the Goddess. So these runes typically use the Elder Futhok rune set. Now the Elder Futhok rune set is the rune set that Odin hung from the world tree and sacrificed his eye to gain the wisdom of. And when he brought them back, these were what was given to him. So, as we know, each specific rune has its own message. When you lay them on top of another rune, you can either get the same message, a more powerful version of that message, or a different message altogether. When I'm doing my shadow work and I feel like I need a little extra help to find my light so I don't lose it, I like to use a mixture of Tiawas and Dagas. And when I draw it, I usually draw it on either a piece of paper that I'm using, a crystal that I'm using, a bottle of oil. You can pretty much draw them anywhere. But when I use it, it looked like this. So, on their own, Tiawas means victory, self-sacrifice. It's also a symbol of the god Tyr. And Dagas on its own means light. So when put together, you can assume that it means victory for the light. So what you want to make sure that you're doing when you're creating these runes is make them personal. Don't think that because I drew Tiawas and Dagas this way, you have to do it when you do it too. Create your own way to do things, and the energy is going to be more yours. So when you do this, I know that there are different runic sets out there. I've heard of elven runes and things like that. If you have a different rune set that you like to use, or if you like to use the witch's alphabet, you can do that too. I'm sure there's a way to bind together any form of these runes that you like. When you're doing it, keep in mind the message and the energy that you want to get across. As important as any spell work, you want to make sure that your intention is there. If you want this runic message to mean victory for the light, you need to make sure that you're concentrating on that, and concentrating and also acknowledging the individual energy of each rune. Because if you don't, it's just like not respecting the plants, or blowing out a candle instead of using a candle snuffer when you're using it for elemental purposes. It's almost disrespectful to the energy or the entity of that rune or candle or whatever you're using to not acknowledge its individuality. You want to acknowledge it as a whole, but you also want to acknowledge the individual. No one wants to be seen just as a group. If you're going to get into bind runes, I'm going to suggest a book for you. It's called Taking Up the Runes by Diana L. Paxson. It looks like this, and on the back it retails for about $24.95. But like I said, and I always say, I know you can get things cheaper from Amazon and your local shops and things like that. All about supporting the little guys. But this book I use almost daily when I'm using runes, because it goes through not only the individual meaning for the rune, but it gives you ancient meanings, modern meanings, different stories and spells and things like that you can use these runes for. So you really just shouldn't be afraid to just pick it up and start looking through. And this isn't one of those books that you need to read cover to cover to understand. If you're looking for, here, let's just flip to a random page. Okay, it ends up being Tiawas and Berkno. So it's not one of those books that you need to read straight through. It's more of a reference material. You can go to the back and it has songs and poems and, spells and how to write your runic name. It has a lot of good information. So if you're going to get into bind runes or runes and you don't have a runic book that you like to use already, I'd suggest that one. Now, when you're making your own, like I said before, you can carve them on anything, you can write them on anything, even yourself. What I like to do is, if I need a little bit more strength that day, I'll draw them on my wrists or on the back of my neck. Or, if I need more stability, you can draw them on your feet if you need to. You can, as many inventive ways as you have in your head, that's as many inventive ways as you can use them. You can use them for protection of your house. You can make a bind rune for protection and warding and put it on the outside of your house or at the end of your driveway. And what I want you guys to remember is you don't necessarily need to put the rune in ink. You can use your wand and draw it energetically, and it's still going to hold that resonance. I like to draw them in ink on my hand because as much as it's a magical reminder and the energy is there, I like to have that visual reminder as well. So it's really just a preference for you guys and whatever you like to do. And that's pretty much it for bind runes. You can use any of the Elder Futhark runes that you want to create a specific message. If you guys have questions on if these two runes work well together or how do I make a bind rune for this, comment or send me an inbox message. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I will be doing a giveaway in the next week or so, and it is going to be a grab bag giveaway from a local shop that I read tarot cards at. And I've decided that the maximum I'm going to spend on this giveaway is $30 and the minimum is $20. So you're going to get a lot of good stuff for pretty much for free, because I'm just going to send it to you. But how I'm going to do it is whoever comments, subscribes, everything else that tells me that they'd like to be a part of the giveaway or, just comments on the video, I will be putting your name into a drawing and drawing it live, and that's who will get the box. And if they don't respond within a week, we'll move on to the next person, and it'll just go on from there until someone acknowledges and accepts and sends me their information. I have two other special notes that I wanted to get out of the way. The first is my condolences to Puck. He recently lost a friend to the Summerland who has been chosen to be reincarnated and everything else, and I just wanted to make sure that he knew that we are all here for him if he needs to talk to anybody or just needs to know that there's love out there. So we're all here. The next is ArthurianWitch just put up a website for her card readings that she does. I know a lot of you have seen her videos here on YouTube, and some of you are already on the site, but I wanted to give that a quick promo. It's glammywitchreadings.weebly.com, and I'll put the entire link in the description of this video, but right now, if you guys want a reading, now is going to be the time to do it. She's running a special where it's $15 for 30 minutes. Now, speaking as a reader that does readings at a shop and does readings online and things like that, you guys aren't going to find a better deal for 30 minutes. Most people, if they offer $15, it's a couple of cards. It's shuffle and the first 3 cards out are what you get, and that's pretty much it, because that's all $15 is really going to get you readings-wise. So if you're going to get readings, get them now. She's only running the special through, I believe she said the 15th, because I think she said a week, and she posted it on the 8th. So go over there, grab a reading if you're looking for some insight, or even if you just want to try it out. This is great for those people who aren't sure if they want to do a full-fledged reading and they just want a sample, because you're going to get a full-fledged reading for a sample price. Alright guys, blessed be, and I'll see you next time.